Welcome to How to Survive with Danielle and Kristine, the show that teaches you how to survive the things that can kill you.
Like falling off a cliff, dynamite explosions, or parasites.
Ugh. Or things that just make you wish you were dead.
Leaving your coffee on the roof of your car. Mm-hmm. Getting caught re-gifting, Danielle.
Oh, 'tis the season.
How about rejection in Hollywood? Ugh. We don't know anything about that.
No, let's play the song.
Right.
Ground is shaking under our feet. Mountains on fire, flooding in the street. Can't breathe the air, can't fight the feeling. Goblin down, Xanax ain't the way to be dealing. Gotta do better than just getting high. We gotta stick together if we're gonna survive. How to survive. How to survive. Welcome to How to Survive with Danielle and Kristine. I'm Danielle.
I'm Kristine.
Kristine, how are you?
You know what? Pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah, there's a lot of sickness going on around my house.
Right. So Benji, his glands have shrunk back down to normal size.
Yeah, they were golf balls for a while.
Right.
Now they're like just little beans.
How cute.
It's adorable.
So is he back at school?
Back at school. Alex was home from school yesterday.
Because now she's sick.
Yeah.
I think a lot of stuff is going around. I want to ask Garen something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Garen, what do you think about the... Oh, wait, have we announced are they public yet?
The merch?
Designs? Yeah.
I mean, we have new merch.
Yeah.
You can go to our website and check it out. Or you can go actually to Instagram and we have it on our link tree. So yes.
Is it okay if I ask Garen
Yes.
about... Okay, so Garen, what do you think about the garden squirrel
it's
merch?
adorable.
It's
you
great,
like it?
right?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And
I
who do we
love
have
it.
to thank for that?
Nathan Diffie.
Nathan Diffie.
It's really cool.
You know who he is, right? Because he does stuff he's done stuff for Never Not Funny.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
you're immortalized once again
I
in
know,
T-shirt form.
Young Garen would never have thought.
I know.
He
to
would
have
be
his own T-shirt.
Yeah.
His own merch.
He's Lazy Queen on Never Not Funny, and he's
Those
Garden
are collector's
Squirrel.
items. Those are gone. You can't get those anymore.
That's amazing.
And soon these will be as well.
So get on it. By the way, my parents have outside their house a fucking miniature picnic table
They do.
for squirrels.
That's adorable.
So their neighbor gave it to them, and then it has a little tiny bowl that you put the nuts in. That
adorable.
Hasn't been filled in a while, but yeah.
I just saw I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
No, that's honestly all I had to say.
I just read, one of the traditions in our family that I decided was a tradition is on Sundays when the paper comes, I make the kids listen to me read The Ethicist. Do you know about The Ethicist in the New York Times?
I have heard about it. There's a reason I've heard about it, and now I don't remember. Because one of those people wrote a book or something.
Probably.
Anyway, I've heard about it recently.
It's some people write in with their questions of like, so I was invited to my son's wedding and his...
Oh, it's Dear Abby.
It's Dear Abby.
But they call it The Ethicist.
Because it's more like, I guess, ethical questions.
Yeah.
Like, is this right or wrong? So this question was, this couple is friends with their neighbors because they all love their cats. Like they're all cat lovers.
Okay.
And they all love animals and they're pet lovers, etc. But then the neighbors started feeding the squirrels.
Okay.
And they're really upset about it because you're not supposed to feed squirrels, apparently, because what happens is they become tame and then they become pests and then they can't. It's like it throws off the ecosystem when you feed squirrels, apparently.
Oh, okay.
Because they then become too tame. They don't know how to fend for themselves. There's a whole reason like you're not supposed to do it, that it has all these bad effects, and I can't remember all of them now. But I was like, I would never have thought that. I would have just been like, yeah, feed the squirrels. But
I would never have thought it.
Anyway, I'm not. Don't say anything to your parents. Let them have their little picnic table.
Yeah. What did the ethicist say?
He said, because your friends are such animal lovers, you can probably give them like a nice pamphlet that explains a nice pamphlet, not a rude pamphlet.
Yeah. Give them the Watchtower and then in between stick the squirrel
squirrel pamphlet that explains, just like gently say, hey, you might not know.
Well, actually
them. Just gently them.
No, what I was going to say is years ago, my dad used to let the squirrel climb up his leg.
No, he didn't.
And feed it. Yes.
He's a braver soul than I. I would never in a million years.
A rodent on you?
I know.
Never.
Yeah.
Never.
And also nothing gives my dad more giggles than my fear of rodents.
Really?
He thinks it's hysterical.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, your dad could have been putting himself in danger of a parasite.
Was that a transition?
That was a segue, guys.
Segue, I heard.
Proud of you.
Thank you.
I like it.
I rarely do a seamless segue, and I think I might have just
Seamless
now.
segue.
So, all right. If you are squeamish at all, listener, you may want to
fast forward
through this entire episode.
just get a barf bag near you.
Just get ready. We're going to talk about parasites today.
Yeah.
And I'm going to break down the different kinds of parasites. I'm going to dive in deep to some of the parasites.
Are you going to teach us how to survive parasites?
I am.
Okay.
I am in some ways. And for some people, I can't help you. I'm sorry.
Right.
But most of those people aren't listening. So, all right. Danielle, Garen.
Yes.
There are 3 types of parasites that can cause disease in humans.
Okay.
And then within those 3 types, you got a lot of bad actors. Okay. So according to Medical News Today, parasites are organisms that live in or on a living host of another species.
Right.
They survive by taking nutrients from this host. The first type, they're called protozoa. They're single-celled organisms.
Right.
I'm not going to test you on this. You don't have to remember this. These kind, I'm going to just briefly touch on because these aren't the ones we want to dive into. But I'm just going to give you some examples of these kinds of parasites, these single-celled. Malaria.
Oh.
That comes from a single-celled parasite.
Interesting.
Yeah. This disease causes fever, headaches, chills. It can be fatal.
Wait, don't you get malaria from
Mosquito.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
So are the mosquitoes the parasites?
The mosquitoes are not. They carry the parasite.
Oh, okay.
The Anopheles, that's probably how you pronounce it, mosquito carries this blood-borne parasite and transmits it through biting the humans.
Oh.
That's how Jellicle cats spread. Because his name sounds like a Jellicle cat.
Yeah, well, Jellicle cats they come out tonight.
Yeah.
And then they
don't know how to do comedy. I know that.
No, they don't.
Neither do I.
I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this little moment.
Thank you.
I was trying to think of the part of the song that's like, Jellicle. Well, maybe it's a different kind of cats where they list all the things they do.
I don't. That whole
I'll think
show
of it later.
is like. I'll look
I
it
know.
up. I'll look it up. But
I don't know this musical enough to understand the references, and I'm happy that I don't.
It's fine.
watch the movie.
Oh, I don't think I'll do that.
Oh, you haven't seen the movie?
I've seen like a bit and piece of it.
It's not what you think in that.
Yeah.
It's not enjoyable on it's so bad it's fun.
Right.
It's just bad.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
It's not even like you can watch it and make fun of it.
Right.
Yeah.
You can just do that with the preview, with the commercial.
Okay. Well, there were an estimated 241 million cases of the disease in 220.
I
Guys,
love that year.
That was a good year for us.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago.
It was.
2020. There's another single-celled parasite I'm going to tell you about called, I'm going to try to pronounce this, acanthamobiasis.
Okay.
You know what? I'm not going to try to pronounce this.
You did. I'm sure that's the way
That's
you pronounce
exactly how you say it.
Yeah.
This tiny amoeba can affect the eyes, skin, and brain. It exists all over the world in water and soil. Individuals can become infected if they clean contact lenses with tap water.
Well, who would do that?
And it can result in permanent visual impairment or blindness. So when people don't use their
Jesus
contact...
Christ.
I don't know if maybe people are so poor, but they still have contact lenses.
I don't think so.
Listen, just don't...
Jesus.
If you
I
ever,
found these lenses on the street. I just decided to try them.
just don't ever clean your contact lenses.
But you couldn't anyway because
With
the
just
whole
water.
point is that water dries out contacts.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
People get it, so they must have done it.
You know what you should do if you don't have...
Contact lens solution?
Yeah. Just cry. Cry over your lenses.
I thought you were going to say pee on them.
It probably would be better than the water.
Yeah, probably. Listen, people have done other things with their pee that I'm always like, drink it, clean their face with it. I don't know what people are thinking. Here's another one that's fun. Trichomoniasis.
Okay, that sounds familiar. I don't know.
I hope not too familiar.
Okay.
Also known as trick. This is a sexually transmitted infection.
Stop trying to make trick happen.
This is the result of a parasite, Trichomonas vaginalis.
Whoa, that
Yeah.
sounds vagina related.
It is. It
Okay.
affects the female urogenital tract. It can exist in males, but usually without symptoms.
Wow, and how do you get that one?
I think rubbing your parts together. It's among the most common sexually transmitted infections.
Wow.
I know, it's like, I've never heard of it either.
Maybe it's just in third world countries or something?
Risk factors include multiple sex partners and not using condoms during sex. Causes a foul-smelling vaginal discharge, genital itching.
What doesn't?
Right? It's like anything you do these days. And painful urination in women. Complications include a risk of premature delivery for pregnant women.
Oh, my God.
Treatment involves both partners taking one large dose of a certain oral antibiotic. I think it's funny that they didn't say
One
which one.
large dose.
A certain.
Yeah. Ask your doctor to find out.
Yeah, we're not going to tell you.
One large dose. I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
Just one dose?
I mean,
But a
is
large
this like
dose.
the fancy word for crabs? Remember, crabs used to be, I feel like when I was a kid, people were like, that girl Sheila's going to give you crabs.
Well, you know why crabs went down?
No, I don't.
Because a lot of women don't have pubic hair anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
I'm pretty sure that's the thing. They live in hair. And because pubic hair became out of style, or at least, shorter or
Yes.
less, I believe, I could be completely wrong, but I believe that's why you
love
don't hear
that.
about crabs so much anymore.
Yeah, I went, because there's also pubic
maybe in
lice and
Seattle
maybe
or something.
Oh yeah, because they're very natural up there. The second class of parasites. Here's another one. Oh, we're leaving these parasites now. We're going to new parasites.
Okay.
The second class of parasites, ectoparasites.
Okay.
These live on the outside of the body. Fleas, lice, and bed bugs.
Got it.
Common ectoparasites. We know what bed bugs are. We don't have to get into bed bugs. Everybody knows about bed bugs. Have you ever had bed bugs?
No, my parents did.
What about you, Garen?
No.
I'm glad we thought we did once, and then we had people come in, of course, and it turned out they were carpet mites.
Is that better?
It is. Oh, so much better.
Really?
We paid like $200. We got this special vacuum cleaning guy, and he came and he swept it all out, and it was done.
Oh, okay.
It was.
So it's not like a lifestyle change.
Thank God. No, but Benji started getting all these like little bites all over him, and they weren't bites. Actually, you can have like an allergic reaction.
Oh.
because they don't really bite, but you can have a rash. So
Is he still scarred from the hot water?
no,
That's
you can't
amazing.
even tell.
That's amazing.
Isn't it?
That's why you need to transplant, baby skin.
Skin onto your face.
Yes.
Oh, that's what they should do
That's what they should
instead
do.
of fillers and Botox.
Yeah, just baby skin.
Just take 9-year-old boys' stomachs and put it on your face. I'll see if Benji will give me his. I bet he would.
He loves you.
He doesn't.
He totally would.
He doesn't like my aging.
What do you mean? He comments on your
Yes.
aging?
He'll be
what
like-
world is it okay
Yeah.
for you to be aging?
He doesn't. He'll be like, Mom, you have a lot of gray hair. A lot. And he'll say like, I made a joke the other day about going to school for Alex when she was sick. And he goes, you have too many wrinkles. No one's going to believe that.
Wait. Oh, pretending you're Alex? Uh-huh. Jesus.
Yeah.
They're also very observant. I don't think my son, I don't know if he could pick me out of a lineup. I mean, like, he just doesn't, like, Jimmy will say, like, isn't mommy pretty? And he'll just be like, like, it just makes him so uncomfortable to even look at me.
That's because he loves you so much.
I know.
Okay. Lice. We don't need to get into the lice. Look, I've had it, been there.
Oh, yeah, you've
We
had
all
lice.
had
That's right.
during the show. I mean,
Jesus. You've had everything possible.
everything on this list, basically. This is just
Maybe
a
it's
list
the
of my
show.
Yes, this is the list of my life is this show.
Yeah.
Oh, screwworm. Haven't had screwworm.
Screwworm?
Here, screwworms are the fly larvae that burrow into the skin.
Wait, didn't Benji have some sort of
We're getting
worm?
yeah.
Oh, okay,
we're getting to that. They can cause severe infection and disease. Okay, now we're gonna dig in to the good stuff, guys.
Okay.
Helminths, worm parasites.
Okay.
We're gonna get into the disgusting.
Screwworm is not a worm?
They're fly larvae. They just worm is a misnomer on that one. Pinworm infection is the most common type of intestinal worm infection in the United States and one of the most common worldwide. Pinworms are thin and white, measuring about 1/4 to 1/2 inch in length. While the I'm going to tell you a little more about pinworms. Okay. While the infected person sleeps, female pinworms lay thousands of eggs in the folds of the skin surrounding the anus. Most people infected with pinworms have no symptoms, but some people experience itching, anal itching, and restless sleep. Pinworm infection occurs most often in school-aged children named Benjamin and Alex.
Yeah.
And the tiny...
she got it too?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
And the tiny microscopic eggs are easily spread from child to child. Treatment
Is
involves...
it like, because, I mean, not to get too graphic, but it's like they don't do the greatest job wiping and they don't do the greatest job washing their hands? Is that the idea? Okay.
Yeah. Treatment, and it's very contagious. It spreads through schools like lice does, basically.
Wow.
Treatment involves oral drugs over the counter. You buy this stuff over at any drugstore.
Okay.
Oral drugs that kill the pinworms, and a thorough washing of pajamas, bedding, and underwear, and every single thing inside your house.
So you had to do this for lice and pinworms.
Yeah.
You should just have a whole, just in case of emergency, break glass set of sheets and
I agree.
brand new sheets and brand new.
Or just wrap everything in plastic like they used to do.
Yeah.
Just keep everything covered in plastic.
Yeah.
All right, tapeworms.
Yes.
All right. Let's focus on this one. There's 5,000 species of these tapeworms apparently, but the ones that affect us the most are the pork, beef, and fish tapeworms.
Huh. Okay.
First two, you don't have to worry about, Danielle, but
You're right.
Fish.
So
maybe.
they live in pork and beef. Is that the idea?
Yeah.
But again, they're invisible, or is it just that the eggs are in the pork and beef, and then once they get in your system, they hatch?
This is usually going to happen if you're eating anything undercooked.
So meaning they're there.
Yeah.
Ugh. So everything you eat has worms in it. It's just that when you cook it,
it kills it. If you ingest certain tapeworm eggs, they can migrate outside your intestines and form larval cysts in body tissues and organs. If you ingest tapeworm larvae, however, they develop into adult tapeworms in your intestines.
Oh, God.
So an adult tapeworm has a head,
Yeah.
a neck, and a chain of segments called proglottids.
Wait a second. The worm has a neck. Isn't it all neck?
Not these kind.
Okay.
They're more sophisticated
I
worms.
can't. I'm trying to picture. Okay.
You get to look. I'm going to add
thank you.
pictures. You'll get to look at
All
these.
right.
They're really fun to look at. Okay, the tapeworm head adheres to the intestinal wall. The proglottids grow and produce eggs. Adult tapeworms, this is horrifying. They can live for up to 30 years in your body.
That's like longer than a dog.
Yeah.
Or a cat.
This is the longest pet you will have.
30 years?
Yeah.
But are they doing damage to your body that whole time?
Well, let's talk about that.
Okay.
They're usually the infections are usually mild with only 1 or 2 adult tapeworms, but invasive larval infections can cause serious complications. Like you could have lots of tapeworms in your body. Here's some signs and symptoms: nausea, weakness, loss of appetite, abdominal pain, diarrhea, dizziness, salt craving. I'm also like, this just sounds like a list of side effects from any
Everything,
medication
yeah.
you see on
Well,
a
maybe
commercial.
the medications include, maybe they contain tapeworms.
Maybe just take a tapeworm.
Yeah.
So I don't even know how you'd know if you had
Well, I guess, is there medication to take for it as well? Okay.
Most of these, you take a medication and it gets rid of it.
Okay.
Now, you might have heard of this, toxocariasis. Sometimes I think it's called toxoplasmus. This is the infection caused by larvae of roundworms that affect dogs and cats.
Okay.
So they used to say to women who were pregnant, like, oh, don't be around your cat. You might get this toxocariasis.
Yes.
And this is if you accidentally ingest the poop of these animals, which I'm not sure how you would accidentally
How would you
do
accidentally
that.
do that?
I'm not sure how. I've never.
Unless you're touching your cat, you're petting your cat. The cat has
Yeah.
a little bit of
That could, I mean.
nonsense on it.
Yeah.
And then, you don't wash your hands. I mean, I guess it's possible.
But you can get pneumonia and vision loss. I mean, it's pretty
Jesus.
serious. Young
And
children.
then you'll need those contacts.
Oh, yeah. And then don't
Yeah.
stick them in the water.
No.
Yeah. It's more severe. Or young kids and pet owners, obviously, are more likely to be infected. The most severe cases develop in children who play in and eat dirt containing pet droppings. Kids play in dirt.
I guess. Yeah.
Kids love to play in dirt, and a lot of animals maybe poop in the dirt, and they don't know, and they're just like, "Oh, look at this chunky dirt."
But yeah.
I'm going to put it in my mouth.
Did your kids do that?
Put poop in their mouth?
Well, put dirt in their mouth?
Sure. Yes, of course. They put everything in there when they're little. They're just like, dog food, yum.
Yeah.
This dirt, sand, yay.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised they didn't get this, especially Benjamin. Here's some symptoms. You might not get symptoms at all. Fever, cough, wheezing, extreme tiredness, abdominal pain. I feel like I have all this now.
Well, you know what they do is they examine your poop. That's how they find out if you have these things.
You're right.
You poop into one of those things, and they examine
They run the
it.
test, and
They
they're
run
like,
the test.
look, we just found some cat poop in this.
That's right.
You've got the toxicaris.
Or your part cat.
Or
Your part cat.
You're right. You're right. Oh, enlarged liver, enlarged spleen. Those are good
Jesus.
signs. Those are maybe a little bit more, you're like not just tired.
God.
So, children often pick up the infection while playing in sandboxes.
Well, see, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But sandboxes shouldn't have dog poop
They
in
would,
them.
I'll tell you.
if it's outside.
I'll tell you what, we built a sandbox
Yeah.
in our little backyard for our kids when our kids were little toddlers.
Yeah.
And Sally was like, this is where I'm going to pee. So we were like, we can't have a sandbox. Our
Yeah,
dog
you
can't.
have to have one of those like turtle things that has a
the
shell,
lid.
the lid. Yeah,
Yeah, we thought we were being all cool and hip
I know
building
it's
a
very
sandbox.
cute. Yeah,
Oh, it also affects children and adults who have a condition called pica. You've heard of pica, right?
Yes, is that where you want to eat chalk and stuff?
You crave non-foods such as soil and dirt.
Okay.
Man, I'm glad I didn't get that.
Yeah.
That's an actual like illness and not
Yeah.
like a mental thing?
Well, I don't know if it's connected to.
That's an interesting
That's a good question. I remember studying it in my undergrad in psychology, so it could be mental, but like it's hard to parse out those kind of conditions. How much is biological and how much is mental? I don't have an answer for that.
I don't either.
Oh, here's a good piece of advice. Don't try any home remedies for intestinal parasites.
Don't like put a fly trap up your ass and.
Oh, well, you can
that.
do that if you want, just for other reasons, but don't think you're going to get rid of an intestinal glue trap. I think I got it all out. It's sticking. Make a call to your healthcare provider. They may recommend an anti-parasitic drug such as albendazole.
Albadenza.
Albendazole. Hey, pizza spaghetti. That's not offensive. These medications will kill the worms. That reminds me, when I was reading up on like trying to find a story, I found a couple stories about people who really screwed up with their anti-malarial treatment protocols before they traveled. And there was one guy who, for some reason, instead of doing the protocol for malaria vaccines or shots, decided to do a homeopathic.
What an asshole!
Because it was like half the price
for a vaccine.
Yeah, because it
You can't make a homemade. He went to egg yolk and some vinegar and call it a vaccine.
He went to a website that was like, it's effective, and it had testimonials. It's like.
It's effective. How do you know it's effective? You didn't happen to get the disease. You don't know if it's effective.
A lot of people are like, oh, homeopathic, it works. And
not for a vaccine.
I know.
Jesus Christ.
And then, he almost died. So, guys, trust in medicine. All right, here we go. This one, it's just getting progressively more horrifying. That's how I like to build. It's like they're fireworks, right? And they're good. And then you go, now we're going to get to the grand finale. We're almost there.
Okay.
It's almost
Elephantitis?
not quite. Elephantiasis, lymphatic filarius. And it's not hilarious, but it rhymes with it. Commonly known as elephantiasis, I may be saying that wrong.
Very common.
Is a neglected tropical disease infection. It occurs when filarial parasites are transmitted to humans through mosquitoes infection. Through mosquitoes. Oh, that's the end of the sentence.
Answers phone. Have we ever talked about that? To phone.
Oh my God, that was the best thing that ever happened.
When Chris and I were writing on The Dish, we had Real Housewife of Atlanta star Kim Zolciak on.
Do you remember Kim Zolciak?
She's the party one, right? Party.
Don't be tardy to the party.
Yes. She's
Oh
the
my
blonde.
God.
She's the white woman in the all black cast of Atlanta.
Don't be tardy to the party.
Oh God. She
We gave her a script.
we gave her a script. She was reading off the prompter.
Was it like a
She was
QVC
rehearsing.
commercial?
Probably,
sketch
yeah, something
where
like that.
She was selling her stuff.
Yeah. Or like a sex line because she had a phone. Anyway,
Yes.
she literally, like a bad, sitcom about making a TV show. No. She literally said to the camera, to phone. We were like, perfect.
Oh my God, it was
Perfect.
so great.
I think she also might have been smoking while she was pregnant. But
Oh yeah, she was.
didn't she have to go out and smoke? And we were like,
Yeah.
I think she's pregnant.
Yeah.
It was really fucking weird. But
Yeah,
anyway.
it was wild.
Yeah.
That
whole
was good times. Yeah, that was.
We also met Luann DeSeps.
That was amazing.
We took a picture with her.
She was so beautiful.
Yeah.
I was in love with her. Like, I was like, I want to be that beautiful when I'm, but wait, now I want to be that beautiful. I kept
know,
thinking, like, I want to be that beautiful when I'm that age, but I'm like, no, that I want to be that beautiful
She
now.
kind of defies, like, this is what I mean about genetics. Like, maybe she's had work done on her face, but her body is like a 24-year-old's body.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, she looked ridiculous.
Yeah.
And she didn't look like, I mean, whatever work she had done, it was perfect.
Yeah.
I think she just had also really, really good genetics.
Yeah.
Damn genetics. Okay. Back to elephantiasis.
Yes.
The painful and profoundly disfiguring visible manifestations of the disease, lymphedema, elephantitis, and scrotal swelling
Yeah, elephantitis.
occur later in life and can lead to permanent disability. These patients are not only physically disabled, but suffer mental, social, and financial losses, contributing to stigma and poverty. In 2020, 863 million people in 50 countries were living in areas that require preventative chemotherapy to stop the spread of the infection.
Preventative chemotherapy.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that. Okay.
They have to take chemotherapy drugs to not have this.
Oh,
It's-
Jesus.
So I looked at some pictures.
It's swelling of the testicles.
and their legs. I mean, it's so large.
Does
It's-
it not affect women?
It does.
Oh, labia?
Maybe. I mean, I saw a lot of really large men's genitals.
Yeah.
And legs of men and women and kids. And it's older kids because they get bitten and then it takes years for it to develop.
Oh, God.
It's very hard to look at.
Is there a cure for this?
The cure is not, well, here, let me go down and talk about the treatment. Okay. The global baseline estimate of people affected was 25 million men and over 15 million people with the lymphedema. The men is with the hydrocele, which I think is the swelling of the... At least 36 million people remain with these chronic disease manifestations total. That's a lot.
Jesus.
That's a lot of people. Okay. Eliminating lymphatic filariasis can prevent unnecessary suffering and contribute to the reduction of poverty. Okay, so it's caused by the infection with the parasite classified as nematodes, roundworms. And it doesn't sound like there's a cure. It sounds like you can keep it from happening with the drugs, and you
Okay.
can reduce its progression with the chemotherapy drugs. But
Yeah.
as far as I could see, I don't think there's a cure, but I will look into that because I don't have your answer.
I'll just watch
Mask?
Johnny Dangerously again, because that's where I first learned about elephantitis of the nuts, as they call it. Because Johnny shows his younger brother,
Yes.
played by Griffin Dunn,
Yes.
a movie
Okay.
which is like a animated like cartoon
Yeah.
sack,
Yeah.
like on crutches or something.
Okay. I have no recollection of this moment.
It's so funny. It's like he's warning him about like growing up.
Yeah.
Because his brother's so naive that he's warning him about elephantitis. That's where I learned about it.
You know,
Is that a trope?
I
Breakfast Club
loved
too?
that movie.
I never saw it.
It's you've never seen Johnny Dangerously?
Wait, that's Michael Keaton, right?
Yes.
Did I see
Get
it?
out of here right
Danielle's
now.
love.
I don't know if I've seen it.
It takes place in the 20s. He's a mobster. Joe Piscopo's in it.
I know the movie. I don't know if I've actually seen
Mary
it.
Lou Henner.
Oh, I like her.
It's fantastic. It's just silly, but it's really funny. But it's, you know, it has a lot of classic lines. You know,
I remember quoting dialogue from that movie as a kid and just thinking,
Fartigan ice hole.
yes. And it was a way to cuss when you were a kid.
Yeah. It's so funny, and Michael Keaton's so adorable in it.
All right. Here we go. Dracunculiasis.
When you get bitten in the balls by a vampire.
Well, my work is done. I think stands for bad dragon or deadly dragon,
Okay.
also called guinea worm disease.
Okay.
This is a parasitic infection of the guinea worm. A person becomes infected by drinking water containing water fleas.
Ugh.
Infected with guinea worm larvae. The worms penetrate the digestive tract and escape into the body. Around a year later, the adult worm migrates to an exit site, usually a lower limb, and induces an intensely painful blister.
Okay.
on the skin. The blister eventually bursts
Right.
to form a very painful open wound. This is the worst one, you guys, from which the worm slowly crawls over several weeks.
Several weeks?
Yeah, the wound remains painful throughout the worm's emergence, disabling the infected person for 3 to 10 weeks.
What?
It takes the worms, that's how long it takes the worm to come out. During this time, the open wound can become infected with bacteria, leading to death in around 1% of cases.
Okay, I was going to say, if you know this is happening, I'm sure there's can you just pour peroxide on it or something? I'm sure you can kill the worm. No?
You don't want the worm to die.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Because it'll stay in there and...
Yeah, because that'll be worse.
Oh, it has to come out?
Yeah.
Get out.
Get ready for this next part.
Okay, I'm ready.
There's no medication to treat it. Instead, the mainstay of treatment is the careful wrapping of the emerging worm around a small stick to encourage its exit. Each
feel like
day,
I've seen that.
a few more centimeters of the worm emerge, and the stick is turned to maintain gentle tension. With too much tension, the worm can break and die in the wound, causing severe pain and swelling at the ulcer site. You
just have to lay still for 3 weeks?
Yes. Yeah.
With the stick?
Yeah. And somebody has to come and take care of you and turn the stick. So this is a disease of extreme poverty occurring in places with poor access to clean drinking water. Prevention efforts center on filtering drinking water to remove water fleas, as well, obviously, as public education campaigns to discourage people from soaking their emerging worms in sources of drinking water. Because when the blister comes, the first thing people want to do is put it in cold water because that feels good.
Oh.
And they're like, don't, because then when they do that, all these larvae come out and go into that water, making more worms.
Jesus Christ.
It's nuts. So
I can't believe there's not a faster way to get that fucking worm out.
This is because it's from they've traced this historically to the beginning of time, basically.
Okay.
This is I find really interesting when you look at in medicine. The staff with the snake around it.
Yeah.
They think that's this.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Wow.
But. Oh, wow. That's fascinating. I wonder why they would choose that for the medical
because
symbol.
they found it in so early historic records.
That's so awesome.
The effort to eradicate this began in the 80s following the successful eradication of smallpox. By 1995, every country with endemic dracunculiasis had established a program, leaving the disease endemic in just 4 countries: Chad, Ethiopia, Mali, and South Sudan. So in 2021, they found the record low of only 15 cases. So if it succeeds, they'll only, it'll be the second disease ever eradicated.
Oh, wow. Wasn't polio eradicated?
It was, but now I think it's coming back because of people not getting fucking vaccinated. Yeah. So here's just some signs and symptoms. They occur a year after infection. People have allergic reactions, hives, fever, dizziness, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. I told you that people, to get rid of the pain, they stick their foot in water. And then when that happens, the worm spews a white substance into the water, exposing all the larvae. And then this opens the blister. There's then as the worm emerges, the open blister often becomes infected with bacteria.
Right.
You get some redness, some swelling, the formation of abscesses, or in severe cases, gangrene, sepsis, or lockjaw.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So the secondary infection, if it's near a joint, which it often is, like your ankle, the damage to the joint can result in stiffness, arthritis, or contractures. I had to look that up because I didn't know what that was. That is permanent shortening of a muscle or joint. So if you've seen those pictures from the oldie-timey days of people's bodies that are stuck, it can do that to their body depending on where the worm comes out. So here's something even worse. Infected.
I don't know if Karen can handle it.
Infected people commonly harbor multiple worms. So it's not just one coming out.
Yeah.
With an average of 1.8 worms per person, up to 40 at a time.
Jesus Christ. There's got to be a zoning law against that.
And it's usually legs or feet, but they can come out anywhere on the body. Now,
Feet?
Yeah.
Like the bottom of your feet?
yeah. That's usually because they can travel down. And that's all about parasites. Would you like to hear a story?
Story.
Story time, and the living's easy, everyone. That was sarcasm. Okay. A Sacramento State student had a close call after doctors found a tapeworm in his brain.
Oh, fuck.
I'm just happy that I'm here right now, because if I would have went in a half hour later, I definitely wouldn't be here.
Wow.
Luis Ortiz said. His brain is still recovering after doctors performed a surgery for a diagnosis no one would have expected. He went in to see a doctor after he experienced headaches and vomiting. They put this camera in to see what was going on, and that's when they found out. Oh yeah, you have this parasite in your head, they said.
Jesus.
The particular parasite was a tapeworm inside a cyst inside his brain.
Oh my God.
They're like,
What?
I know. Also, just like you go in for headaches and vomiting.
Yeah.
And it's kind of wild that they, and good luck, I guess, that they were like, let's do an MRI or,
right.
you know, because it seems like you could go in for headaches and vomiting and they could just
could be
like,
anything,
yeah,
right.
you have the flu, go home. They're like, hey, you have this parasite in your head and we're going to operate and we're going to have to do it soon. Otherwise, you could probably die, he said. Doctors at Napa's Queen of the Valley Medical Center said the cyst around the worm was blocking water from Ortiz's brain. The tapeworm may have been in contaminated food Louise ate. I have no idea.
Got to his brain?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know. How does it get there?
I don't know.
Like you eat and then how does the worm go? I don't know. They just go where they want, I guess. It's an unusual... Oh, I have no idea where I got it from, he said. Now that it's kind of over, it definitely gave me a new perspective on life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't eat more contaminated food either.
Right.
It's an unusual story of survival for a Sacramento State student whose mind is now on the mend after a worm worked its way into his brain. The doctors told me if I would have gotten there a little bit later, I probably wouldn't have made it, he said. There are 6 types of tapeworms known to infect humans, usually identified by the animal they come from. People typically get them from undercooked meat or by eating food prepared by someone who is infected. The pork tapeworm that infected Ortiz can travel to the brain. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention say there are about 1,000 hospitalizations for brain infections caused by the pork tapeworm. I mean, listen, I just think don't eat pork that isn't fully cooked.
Well, I'm sure you don't mean to. I don't think that's something...
But a lot of bacon isn't full. Like, a lot of people like their bacon that's like, it's crispy, but then parts of it are...
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
A little still pink looking.
Really? Ugh. Okay, I don't know. That's gross.
Guys, maybe we should just all decide to not eat meat. Wouldn't that be a good idea?
At this point, I might not eat ever again.
He may not shower. He may not use water.
I mean, I think we're mostly safe from most of
Yes.
these things.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know if we are anymore.
No.
Because we have people who won't get vaccinated.
Yeah.
And then our religious folks that go to these countries to convert people or do whatever.
Yeah.
God
And then they
knows
come
what
back.
they're going to come back with.
Well,
then
and
that's
some of
gonna-
these things are popping
Well,
up.
you have to get... I'm sorry.
No, please.
You have to travel overseas, you have to get certain vaccinations, don't you?
Well, some of these people didn't get the malaria shots they were supposed. I mean, there were multiple cases of people getting malaria.
I thought it was a legal thing. I honestly did. I thought you have to get a certain, but maybe not.
I mean, they can print out a card.
A fake card, yeah.
I got my measles or whatever.
Right.
vax.
Right.
Who knows?
There's also some evidence that some of these waterborne parasites are cropping up. One of them specifically, and I can't remember which one, but I'll put it in our newsletter. We're cropping up in a small Texas town where there's a lot of poverty because we have living conditions in our country that don't have clean water systems and sanitation systems because of our poverty. So we're not so far away from some of these situations.
Right.
So, let's get on that.
Right.
I mean, when I say let's, I don't mean the 3 of us.
No.
We don't have the capabilities.
Yeah.
But
I don't want to pack and go somewhere.
I'll vote for those people that will do it.
Right. You can't. You're not in their state.
You're right. And I'm not moving to
Is
Texas.
that all we know about Luis?
That's all we know about Luis.
I'm just wondering if the tapeworm caused the cyst or he happened to have a brain cyst that...
The tapeworm went to?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Or like if it even mattered. Well, they said that I guess it's good that he had the cyst because the cyst prevented, right, some sort of liquid from sloshing around his brain, and that's what gave him the headache, and that's what alerted him to it earlier than it would normally be.
In my thinking, the tapeworm caused the cyst, but...
Yeah. I mean, that would have to be
like almost
quite
like
a coincidence.
Like it
for
grew
both those
around
things to
the
happen.
tapeworm.
Yeah.
You know, just like it was...
Like an ingrown hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly like that.
If anyone wants to, if we have any, brain experts listening, feel free to enlighten us.
Please.
Or if Louise is listening,
Yeah.
you let us know.
Yeah, Louise.
Come on. How you doing?
Let us know what happened. That's crazy times.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I hope we'll all avoid parasites
Me too.
of all kinds.
Yep.
Is tapeworm the one that people purposely get to lose weight?
To lose weight.
Is that a real thing?
I don't
Because
know
I'll
if-
hear that people say like, I need to have a tapeworm.
Yeah, I've heard that, but is that a real thing?
I swear I saw a news article, or maybe it was a episode of Glee or something ridiculous that had it in it.
was either-
but
it was either
saying about it.
Maybe.
I love that it was either real news or a Glee episode.
Or something ridiculous that
Yes.
would have that as a storyline.
I mean, I've certainly heard that as a reference.
Yeah.
I once watched I didn't really watch Glee. I think I maybe watched 1 or 2 episodes because I was very excited. I thought it was totally for me and then realized it was not totally for me. But then I've seen a compilation where they had like Matthew Morrison, is that the guy who plays the teacher? Mm-hmm. All these numbers that he does with all the kids, and it's so wildly inappropriate.
Yeah,
like he's really sexy with the kids, and you're like, holy shit. This show was on primetime network. Like, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, Garrett?
Yeah.
It was
I
like a
wanna see
smash
that.
cut of him
Yeah.
just like being sexy with all these supposed, teenagers.
That's wild.
It was bananas.
Glee.
Oh,
Oh.
we'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back to How to Survive with Danielle and Kristine. Kristine, how was your break?
Oh, so many things.
Yeah?
Yeah, just epic.
Really?
So we had a fun time talking about parasites.
Yes, we did.
That's not a good way to bring in our guest.
Well,
We don't think of her as a parasite. She's amazing.
yes.
She's talented. She's a hilarious TV comedy writer. Her name is Laura Mannino.
Hi, Laura.
Hi, everyone.
We're so happy she's here.
Thank you. I'm happy to be
Yes,
here.
because we were talking about parasites, and now we're going to be
Yes.
talking about Hollywood, which is
Yeah.
You can see the
some
connection.
parallels. There
There's
are
a lot of crossover.
A lot of crossover between parasites and Hollywood.
It's mostly parasites.
Mostly parasites.
yes. So you guys know each other from through your children. Is that the idea?
I really think also through activism. I think through we all met after Trump was elected
Yeah.
in the gym at the JCC.
Yes.
And celebrating, of course.
Just
as-
everyone's sobbing.
Dude, celebrated an authoritarian figure
Yes.
in a Jewish community center. And just try to hack away at that problem.
Yes.
I think things are going great.
Yep.
I think everything's
I
going to
think
be
you guys did it.
fine.
We solved it,
did
right? I think
Solved.
everyone knows we solved it in that gym. And I don't even know why that group still exists because we figured it out.
Figured it all
I know,
out.
right?
We fixed
Everything's
it.
great. Everything is fixed.
Yeah.
Everything's good. We're not at all freaking
Congratulations.
out about Georgia right now.
No,
Nope.
it's all fixed.
all fixed.
Yeah. Right. By the time this airs, we'll know who's the next senator from Georgia. I mean, the guy clearly has CTE, right? Like
Yeah, and that is probably the nicest thing you
could say about him.
Yeah.
The
Right.
most charitable
Yes.
quality about him is that he has CTE.
I don't know anything about him
Yeah.
prior to this campaign, but I would propose that he started out as a not super intelligent person,
right.
and then got bashed in the head repeatedly,
Yes.
and now is an idiot.
and now an idiot, and like a cruel, mean idiot.
Yeah.
Wait, he
which-
paid for all those abortions.
Yes,
Trump
that was
didn't even
nice.
pay
And
for his abortions.
You know what? I like that you see the sunny side of life.
And he also he sent a card, which very few men ever do.
Yeah, he sent a happy abortion card.
Happy abortion card.
Yes. That takes
lovely.
thought.
So you know what? Maybe he is perfect for DC. What do we know?
What do we know? Which leads us into your story.
Sure. So, I am somebody whom I feel like I'm somebody who's like really type A. I have a lot of control issues. I like putting in X effort to yield Y results. I like respecting time, having my time respected. I like results and tangible things. So, like, naturally, the entertainment industry was the perfect fit
Very
for
predictable.
my sensibilities.
You work hard and then you succeed.
And that's all you have to do. Gold stars on all of your charts for everything.
Right.
Yes.
That has absolutely been my experience of 20 years of continuing to wake up and show up to this business.
Danielle, I have a feeling this is going to be the flip side of the story from another writer we had on the show, Phil Stark, who
It might be.
Dude, Where's My Car writer
Right.
we had on, who was
Oh.
like, I came out to Hollywood, I had no experience.
I just accidentally got a job on South Park.
I had a spec script, and then I sold my movie, and we were just, Danielle and I were like,
our
wait,
just jaws were on the ground.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
like,
okay.
Isn't that person infuriating?
it was infuriating, but to his credit, he understood how. I mean, at the time he didn't, of course, but in retrospect, he understands how crazy that was,
Right.
and not normal.
Right,
Yeah.
right. That's also how I feel about like going to a lot of writers' conferences and like watching panels full of successful people.
Yes.
It's like, well, I'm so glad that worked out for you.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you are somebody who feels rejected and stewing in failure and having a lot of uncertainty about your life, I am here to
Same.
say you are not
God.
alone.
Yes.
You are seen.
Yes.
Unfortunately, Nancy Pelosi doesn't write those emails. Sorry for that hard truth. But otherwise, I'm here to coddle you
Thank
with
you.
love and to cut the crust off all your bread and tuck you in with my stories of failure and rejection.
I just have to ask: Are you doing Elf on the Shelf?
No, my kid's not into it. I mean, I have the elf on the shelf, but he is not
Really
interested.
But it takes a lot of stress away.
Yeah. Oh, really? Of just being.
Oh, because if you forget to move it, you have to wake up at 3 a.m. and go, "Fuck, we didn't move it."
Oh, yeah. I have so many other ways to feel bad about myself. I don't know. If I need that
I mean, I love doing it, but I'm glad it's over.
Yeah. No, I have the book and I have the
book's
elf,
cute.
and he's just not into it.
We never did it.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
I'm glad.
saved a lot of time and
Yeah,
headache.
it's just one less
Yeah.
thing I have to feel obligated to provide for them.
Right.
He flew across the room by himself. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Anyway, so I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. So for me, I know I was like reflecting on this, like this is like 'tis the time of year to take stock in what your life is.
Always fun. Oh, I love to do that.
Yes.
You
yeah.
love taking stock.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I
And
love it.
I think it was just interesting to see, like, reflecting on my journey of just like how rejection has just sort of peppered in. That is both like shaped who I am in terms of resilience, but also has on the opposite on how to actually survive rejection, realizing that what a blessing it was in disguise, that it only like refined things and made things clear.
Right.
My first thing, I was how it all started was in fourth grade. I did a very fourth grade production of 12th Night, and I so badly wanted.
Wait. Fourth grade you did 12th
our
Night?
class did a very fourth grade 40-minute abridged version of 12th Night.
Did you go to an
And
arts
No,
grade
I went to
school
like
or
a
something?
normal public school, but I went in New York where you have property taxes that fund things instead of selling wrapping paper here in California for gym class, because boomers in the 70s didn't want to pay property taxes for brown kids to get a public education. So now we all sell wrapping paper for music class. But there you pay a lot of property taxes and you get things like get to do a fourth grade production of 12th Night. And I so wanted to be Olivia, like the head bitch in charge Duchess
Yes.
that everybody is in love with. And I actually like lobbied for this role when I auditioned for Miss McMahon, and I got cast as Maria, the maid who cleans up everyone's messes instead.
Oh God.
And that dichotomy has followed me for the rest of
Gotcha.
my life. Like in my head, I would love to be a bitch in charge. In reality,
You're
I'm the main
cleaning up people's-
mess.
Yes.
But that is where I got my first laugh, and that's where my brain was broken forever.
Oh God.
You
Yeah.
get that first laugh,
Yes.
and it's great because it's a result. I love results, the immediate result, and I'm a people pleaser. So I was like, this is what I am doing for
Right.
the rest of my life.
Same.
And I continued on. And then my big moment of my next level of rejection was college auditions. Did you guys do college theater
No.
programs? Good. You are smart.
But I went to an arts high
people.
school, so
so you know.
I auditioned and stuff in high
all of
school.
it, right? So your whole life was all about like that piece of paper that got posted in a hallway.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, symbolically, I don't know if they actually did that. Maybe they did do that. Oh, I'm getting a stomachache
Yeah.
thinking about it. But yeah.
Yeah, my NYU audition that I worked so hard for ended up being my worst. I woke up the day before with pink eye.
Oh no.
So my mom had to rush to the pediatrician to pour eye drops. So I had one eye that was closed and a masked and pink and gore. And then I
Wait,
said,
what was your monologue?
it was actually
Elephant Man?
No, but it should have been.
That would have been
That would've
so
been nice.
apt.
I actually saw this monologue in the back of a book, and it was the title of the play was something about peyote, and you didn't have to be on peyote, but maybe that would have helped me at this audition. I had to be on peyote. But I wrote the playwright a really nice letter asking for the entire script, and he sent it to me.
Oh my gosh.
And I did my research as like
Yes.
a 17-year-old little theater student. I
Good.
read
Yes.
the entire play, source material for my monologue. That was not good enough for NYU. I still got waitlisted and then ultimately
Yeah.
rejected. I also sat in gum on the subway to the audition in like my like black
No.
chiffon dress.
No.
So I had pink eye. In the front of me was just like a pink eye
No.
mess. The back of me was covered in gum. So like, after the audition, I like backed out of the audition like I just performed in front of the Queen. So I'm sure they were like questioning my movement abilities on stage.
Can I just interrupt to have
Yes.
a bonding moment with you for a
Yeah.
second? So I went to an arts high school. I was in the theater department. I actually did, I thought, quite well there. I auditioned for the theater department at NYU and also got rejected.
Wow, see?
Yeah, and
There we are.
it was humiliating
Yeah.
because other people in my class got in, and then when I told them I didn't get in, they were like, "What?"
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm just saying. So I feel your
Right.
pain, literally.
What I fell into, like, my next thing of like movement in this business was like, I was auditioning like at lunchtime for my temp jobs, but I really fell into stand up. And what I loved
Okay.
about stand up, again, a very result oriented art.
In Los Angeles, at this
in
point?
New York.
Oh, still in
I
New
was
York.
in New York just doing stand up at every like dungeon bar in the Lower East Side. I was producing stand up shows. It was so much fun. It was so great to not have to wait to get picked, which was I thought was so difficult as an actor to have to wait to be
Right.
selected, which I realize is a thing that just doesn't go away in this business, no matter who you are,
Right.
or what you're doing. And I loved that feeling of just immediately being in front of the audience, but also stand up. As an art and just as a business, it's like it's a whole other level of like levels of
Yes.
rejection.
Yes.
We were talking about like the sweater, like it is just like multi levels of.
Right.
I mean, you are getting rejected in real time. That is
Yeah.
the whole art of stand up, is to sitting,
Yes.
standing in front of people.
I think what you're saying is valid.
Yes.
I don't think what you're saying is valid or funny or amusing or
Right.
entertaining. Right.
Right. So, but I loved that instant feedback. And even though it was a bummer when it wasn't going your way, at least you sort of knew.
Yeah.
You got it right in the moment.
Yes, yeah. I always found the comedian on comedian level of rejection to be possibly
Wait,
the
the what?
hardest part. Like the comedian on comedian rejection.
yeah.
You're not cool enough to do my free bar show.
Yeah.
No kidding. Yeah.
Seems to be
Yeah.
like the lowest level of bizarre unnecessary
Right.
cruelty.
Right. I know you're a piece of shit, but you're still telling me I'm a piece of shit and I don't want any part of it.
Right.
Yeah.
For free labor.
Yes. It's not a warm and friendly environment.
Yeah.
It can be, but yeah, I
Yes.
guess it depends on where you start. But yeah, no, I
Right.
mean, yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, I think if you're in the right group and accepted, then it can
Yeah.
be fun. But
That is great.
That's
But there's always going to be people who don't accept you.
For sure.
Yes.
For sure.
They're jealous.
Oh, is that?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
No,
I
that's
don't
just
think
what my
that
mom
is.
told me.
Oh, that's what my mom said too. Isn't
Yeah.
it interesting how your parents always come from a place of just the world just hasn't seen, like there's a conspiracy
Yeah.
against you,
Yeah.
and that's
Yes.
supposed to make you feel better.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Everybody
Why is that?
doesn't
Yeah.
understand how great you are.
Right.
There's a
It's all in their heads.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Which just makes I know it comes from a good place, but it makes the rejection feel so much
Well, because you
more-
also know it's bullshit.
Right.
When your parents are telling you that.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I know, Chris, your parents weren't exactly.
my
they
parents
didn't really err in that direction.
That was not ever said to me by my parents, but I also think that it's not wrong that a lot of comedians do hate themselves, and
Yeah.
them sort of not giving you, they're not able to give any sort of validation because they don't give that to themselves. Like
Yeah.
they're not like, hey, that was pretty funny, because they don't have that to give.
Right.
You know, so it's like you're dealing with a bunch of dysfunctional people and expecting a validation for people who can't give it. They don't give it to themselves.
Or just a hello.
Yeah. Well, it's
maybe
nice.
just
Socially, a lot of dysfunction's happening.
Right.
Right.
So it's a group of like a lot of broken toys.
Yeah. Which was great in my
Yeah.
20s in New York, and when I was like felt like I was part of a community of just like doing a bunch of like crazy shit at shows, but yeah, moving here like in like LA in your 30s are too 30s is isolating, Los Angeles
Yes.
is isolating. Now
Yes.
add comedy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And having to prove to a 23-year-old who has the new hot alt show.
Yeah.
Right.
You've already been
Yeah.
doing this for 10 years, and
Yeah.
you give me a shot to provide my content for free so the
Yeah.
bar can sell warm beer to warm bodies.
Right.
And to not even get a response was like, why did I do that to myself for years and
Yeah.
years and years and
Yeah.
years? So, yeah, but I think when I when I auditioned for Last Comic Standing, I think Ant ended up being the prophecy that I needed.
Wait, tell me who was on the panel.
Yeah,
Because I might have been working at the Improv at that time.
I actually auditioned in New York.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Where did I audition? I'm trying to remember. Was that at Gotham?
I was going to say Gotham just to sound cool.
Yeah,
but that's the only place I know.
Right, right.
Except for like Caroline's or something.
Right. I don't think it was that a Caroline? No, maybe it was like
The Boston Comedy Club.
Yeah.
See, I know.
Right.
Comedy Cellar? That's one, isn't it?
Comedy Cellar's
Yeah.
definitely one. Yeah, I lost a contest there. That was fun. I remember the Comedy Cellar well. Somebody pulled out a gun once, I think, at the Comedy Cellar.
Oh my
fun.
God.
And yeah, so I got an audition for Last Comic Standing. I never knew if I wanted to be on the show, but I wanted to do a good job. You know,
Yeah.
this is an
Sure.
audition, this is like a TV credit. And then I realized the thing that I really, really didn't want is I didn't want to end up on the B-roll of the crazies,
Yes.
the street
Yes.
crazies. If I could just not end up on
Yeah.
the
So
street
you
crazy
got
roll.
just to back up for a second
sure.
for people who don't know, they make it look like you wait in line for hours and hours, which
Yes.
some people do,
Right.
But then they afford certain people an actual audition
Yes.
guaranteed, which
Yes.
I did. It sounds like that's what you did.
Yes,
too. Okay.
yes, and it was an amazing.
It's an
win to just-
invitation to get fucked
Yes, it is an
Yes.
invitation to just bend over
Yeah.
on television
and have Alonzo Bowden stop me halfway through my act.
Oh yes, it was Alonzo and it was Ant.
Oh, God.
I had to reset 3 times before I was able to do my set because there was always a technical issue.
Oh, Jesus.
So
Oh, that's good
they're
for
like
momentum.
Laura Mannino, so I would like walk on and like, oh, we gotta go back, and I'm already standing there,
Yikes.
and so I'm like, okay, so I'm already so in my head.
Of
I didn't tell
course.
anybody about this
Yeah.
because, like,
Yeah,
I
you
just-
don't want to. Yeah,
I don't want to jinx it, like the NYU
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
It's just you didn't want to. I didn't want to jinx it. I didn't want to have these expectations. I just was like, I'm just going to hold this in and practice on my own and just do it. And I'll try to do a lot of sets and not tell anyone what this is for. And so I was so like, okay, Laura Mannino, I walk on, they're like, up, reset. And so I went back.
That's
And I was like,
crazy.
okay, we're going to try this again. Laura Mannino. And I was like, oh, we got to reset something.
Way to throw you off.
I'm like, okay, I go back. I learn it, I get there, and I'm about to and hold, and they just have me just stand there. And I wasn't doing a ton of like TV auditioning at this point, so now I realize if somebody's just like eating their lunch on Zoom or not paying attention or on their cell phone, that's a thing. But there was just like a back row of people not giving a fuck.
Yes.
A bunch of crew people mad at whatever all the things that were going wrong.
Yeah.
And then a panel already having decided
that you're not their cup of tea.
not their cup of tea.
Yeah. Oh, God.
So I was I think I did my entire set. Were you interrupted?
He literally stopped me and said, "That's enough." Oh. And we had the same agent. I mean, he didn't know who I was, but I was like, I was so fucking pissed because I was invited by the producers. Will you come and audition?
Yeah.
So it's like, well, maybe if you ask someone to audition, you should let them fucking finish the audition.
Oh my God.
And I called my agent afterwards. I was like, you're never going to fucking believe what Alonzo did. I was so pissed.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. I mean, look, it happens to everyone. It was just, and I thank God that I wasn't on the show. That they didn't show anything. You know?
Yes, that is how I felt too.
Yeah.
Anne's feedback was, I just feel like you don't want this enough. Which made him now, I realize, perfect for Celebrity Fit Club. Like, he really knows.
Is that what he's on?
Yeah, or that's what he was doing after that.
Yeah.
On
Oh, my
that
God.
was his big thing.
Like, you're not needy enough.
Right.
You're not needy enough.
Not needy enough.
Oh, God.
And you know what? In ways, maybe I didn't want to end up on the street crazy montage.
You didn't act insane enough.
Right. So that, in a lot of ways,
That's such a fucked up thing to say to someone because it's such a high pressure situation.
Right.
And to say something like that, it's not helpful.
Yeah.
And it's like a judgment on your character.
Right.
Of someone you have from 3 minutes. How could he possibly know that? It doesn't make any sense.
Right. 6 minutes of resetting and 3 minutes.
I know. Like maybe give you a little slack since that was bananas.
Right.
Yeah.
But, it put things in again, where stand-up fit in my life and what I loved from it. Like, I never cared for it to be a lifestyle choice, which I think is what it is as a profession.
Yeah.
But I loved the art version.
Yes.
Connecting with an audience and wanting a community, not always really finding that, especially in LA. Yeah. But these like little moments of like how to survive rejection. It was like that of just like using a piece of rejection. So from there, I've like moved on to always to now writing. Like that's what I do. And I realized that stand-up, whenever I was performing, it was always writing was always part of that. And it took me a while to realize.
I think I was a better writer as a stand-up than a performer.
Yeah. I saw that for myself as well. And, perfect time to make a career shift when you're pregnant.
Yeah.
So that's what I did when I was...
Hollywood loves women once they give birth.
Yes.
That's when they want us. That's when they want us the most.
My husband was on the phone with his job saying, well, Laura's expecting as a way to get a raise, and I was not posting anything about my pregnancy. Otherwise, I'd become like an official pariah of this business that I already felt like I wasn't officially a part of. So it's just so amazing. It's just astounding how.
So you only went into writing like 7 years ago?
About 7 years, 8 years ago. Yeah. And from there, it was just putting together a resume of like non-union jobs and short-form digital and writing sketches. And while I was just writing my pilot samples to hopefully get staffed. And this year, I feel like I hit some stride with a script. I felt like I finally laid some track down this particular year. But it was interesting sort of dealing with a sort of a newer level of rejection.
Yeah, it's like you really made it because now the bigwigs are
now saying no to you.
Yes,
and that they even have the opportunity to say no to you is
like you've made it, kid.
You made it, right. Right. So I felt like I was finally in a position to seek literary representation. And so I spent this year trying to craft the perfect query letter, much like I've spent most of my life trying to craft the perfect set or the perfect whatever. And so I would go through, I would have friends who were so lovely to recommend me. And they're like, oh, the business, somebody farted in Warner Brothers. Now three things got canceled and nobody has jobs. So my agent isn't reading. Okay, fine. So that was a lot of this year. And so I would craft these query letters of like researching the manager,
Yes.
listening to their podcast they're doing, trying to find a personal connection, crafting my log line. Here, I won a fellowship. I blacklisted or recommended. I, won this runner up in this pitch competition. Like I felt like I had all of the things that everybody says they want in a query letter, a client, all of that.
Yes.
So it's like every Tuesday, send stuff out. Nothing. Then I finally got a response from somebody, like it was like a little reply right there, and and it was somebody who has a relationship with emerging writers on social media, and the response was, "That's great. I'm not reading lower level writers." That was
Jesus.
it. And that's what I realized. As hard as rejection is, I'd rather take rejection over uncertainty.
I agree. I don't
Yes.
like the not hearing.
I know,
not
just being
hearing.
ignored is
Yes.
really hard.
Yeah.
I'd much rather hear, yes, I can't take you, because at
Right.
least it's like, am I
At least I
alive?
can close
do
the
I exist?
book on that one, yeah.
Exactly. And the feeling of invisibility.
Can I be important enough to just get a no response? It feels better, I think. I agree.
I was doing a service where I was paying for rejections.
Yeah.
Like virtual pitch fest. Like you said something,
Yes.
then I'm getting paid to read and then have to at least say an answer to you. So like I was
Right.
getting to the point of like, God, I'm paying money
Yep.
just to get a response, which was so gratifying. So I think that is my little like morality. I don't know. It's not even a cautionary tale. It's just
this is normal life.
This is the
normal
business.
life.
Yeah.
But take your rejections
Yes.
because it beats uncertainty.
Yes.
And just wake
That's
up every
true.
day and continue.
Keep doing it.
To continue on.
I love it.
No, I love it.
I think it's good to hear.
Yeah.
Anyway, Laura, thank you so much
for having me.
I feel like I've met a just younger version of myself sitting in front of me.
A fellow traveler in this
Yes.
journey of life.
Yeah.
So many parallels.
Yeah.
And we'll be right back with what did we learn today?
All right.
Kristine, are you ready to learn what we learned today?
Teach me.
Winter weather forces us to congregate inside, but evidence suggests cold, dry air also helps spread respiratory viruses like COVID or the flu. Feeding squirrels may lead to more squirrels. They share the word about abundant food. An area overpopulated with squirrels can mean an increase in diseases like Lyme disease that can be transmitted to pets, humans, and other rodents.
Oh, and you don't want to get that.
No.
That's bad news.
Yeah.
We got to do an episode on it.
Jellicle cats are a lot of things and do a lot of things. This segment isn't long enough to list all the things that they do. Young and dumb and full of pinworms. Parasites can come from anyone or anything. Don't eat poop, even if it's seasoned with dirt. Pica is the eating or craving of things that are not food. It can be a disorder in itself or a sign of other cultural or medical phenomena. Pica can have causes that aren't due to underlying diseases. Examples include stress, cultural factors, nutritional deficiencies, or pregnancy. I don't know what those cultural factors are, but I'm going to look that up.
Yeah.
The heck?
Really weird.
Yeah.
That's a weird answer.
Don't judge them on their pica.
I'm more confused than ever.
The women have always been... The worms have always been here. Jesus.
And the women.
The CDC divides travel vaccinations into 3 categories: routine, recommended, and required. The only vaccine classified as required by international health regulations is the yellow fever vaccination for travel to certain countries in sub-Saharan Africa and tropical South America. Oh, by the way, tapeworms can grow to 80 feet long. Enjoy your steak.
My God.
Extra raw. Rare. Carpaccio.
Oh my God.
So gross.
All right, everybody. Hey, head on over to our website, Pod How to Survive. Check out our new merch. Leave us a review. Sign up for our newsletter. You are going to miss out if you don't get in on this action.
Get in on it. And until next time, remain calm.